Hi, today I make this video to discuss with people and make a consumer survey about the dietary guidelines for Americans and to see how much people are aware of those dietary guidelines. So, I created a survey consists of 4 questions. What are the dietary guidelines for Americans? What are the 6 dietary guidelines for recommendation for eating healthy? Should carbohydrates be avoided in the diet? How many cups of vegetables should a person consume? I took the answers from different people from our community. I took from teachers, from people in their office, from neighbors, from different age group, whether in the 20s, 40s, 60s. So by this I can evaluate how people are aware of the American guidelines for Americans. So the proper answer for each of these questions is, so for the first question, what are the dietary guidelines for Americans? The dietary guidelines for Americans provide federal nutrition policy, nutrition education activities, food-based recommendation to promote health and meet nutrient needs, help prevent disease-related disease, and it's published every 5 years. Going to the next question, which is, what are the 6 dietary guidelines for recommendation for eating healthy? Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, dairy, proteins, and oils. The third question, should carbohydrates be avoided in the diet? Carbohydrates provide essential nutrients such as fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Rather than eliminating or limiting carbs, focusing on the type of carbs is necessary. Limit highly processed food and refined simple sugars. Focus on nutrient-dense carbohydrates, including fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, and legumes. The fourth question, which is, how many cups of vegetables should a person consume daily for 2000 kilocalorie? 2.5 cups per day for 2000 kilocalorie, 1 cup for lunch, and 1.5 cup for dinner. I made a survey to ask those consumers about their knowledge for those 4 questions, and I recorded those questions for them. I educate every one of them for the answer that they are not aware of. So let's to give them a background of what is the American guidelines for Americans and how to be more knowledgeable of my plate and their eating healthy habits.
Mirjana, please. The first question gonna be, what are the dietary guidelines for Americans? Do you know what it is?
No.
No. So they are federal nutrition policy. It provides nutrition education on what to eat, what to drink to meet the nutrients needs for Americans to prevent disease and promote health. It is published every 5 years. The second question, do you know what are the 6 dietary guidelines for eating healthy?
No.
So what the things you put in your plate to
Oh,
make
yes,
it healthy?
yes.
So what
yes.
are?
It's like protein,
Yes.
vegetables,
Yes.
carbs, and
Yes.
fruits.
So carbs is type of fruits.
Okay.
Okay, so we say vegetables, fruits,
Okay.
whole grains,
Okay.
proteins, as you
Okay.
said, dairy and oil.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The third question. Do we have to avoid all carbs from our food?
No.
Oh, that's a great answer. Because fruits, vegetables, whole grains are types of carbohydrates.
Yes.
The last question. How many cups of vegetables we should eat daily to have 2000 calories?
Oh, I don't know.
You assume how many cups of vegetables?
Like probably 2.
2.5. Like
Yeah,
you're missing a
2.5.
half cup. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So 1 cup for lunch, 1.5 cup for dinner.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Thank you so much. Ms. Joanne.
You're welcome.
Ms. Sonia, please, I want to ask you some questions. So, do you know what are the dietary guidelines for Americans?
Ooh, do you mean like the food, the table?
Yeah.
Okay, I know, it's dairy, protein, grains, fruit, vegetables.
Okay, that's great. So you know a lot about the common question, which are the 6 dietary components.
Okay.
So they are vegetables, fruits, whole grains, dairy, proteins, and oils.
Oh,
Yes.
oils, okay.
Okay. We have healthy oils like omega-3, omega-6,
Right.
and olive oil.
Okay.
Okay.
And I
Does it-
knew that. I didn't know it was part of the food table, but okay.
Okay, that's great. The dietary guidelines are the program that make these 6 points. So they give like nutrition education for people, what to eat, what not to eat, how to prevent food-related disease. So it is established every 5 years.
Okay.
There's coming up questions. Should we avoid carbohydrates in our diet?
No.
Oh, that's great.
I don't think so, but
That's a great answer. So no, because fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and beans are part of carbohydrates
Okay.
that we need to have.
okay, perfect.
The last question, how many cups of vegetables a person should consume in their daily 2,000 calories?
At least 1 cup of vegetables and 1 cup of fruit daily.
So it's 1 cup of vegetables for lunch and 1.5 for dinner. So a total of 2.5 cups.
Okay, of vegetables.
Of vegetables.
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you so much.
Oh,
Mr.
sure, absolutely.
Ms. Paul, I have some questions according for nutrition and dietetics. So do you know what are the dietary guidelines for Americans?
Kinda.
So they give like federal nutrition policy to advise people what to eat, what to drink to meet their nutrient needs, to prevent like disease related to food. So they are published every 5 years. The second question, do you know the 6 dietary guidelines for eating healthy?
Kinda.
So what you
Yeah.
put in plate to make healthy food?
Yeah, because my daughter is vegan.
Okay.
So, and I have to watch what I eat in the first place.
Great.
So I've been learning little bits about, like I've learned that chicken really is not the most healthiest of meats to eat. But always have fruits, vegetables, your leafy greens and everything like that.
Also, proteins can be from vegan side. So we have
Seafood is one of the major should eat.
yeah. So we have to have fruits, vegetables, whole grains, dairy, proteins, and oils. Do we have to cut all carbs from our food?
No,
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, because vegetables and fruit,
you
whole
have to have
grains.
a balance.
Yeah, that's great. The last question: how many cups of vegetables we should eat to have 2,000 calories?
I can't really answer that. I'm sorry.
Assume a number.
1 cup.
So it's 1 cup for lunch, 1.5 cup for dinner, a total of 2.5 cups.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Miss Fuller, for your
You're
time.
welcome.
I want to ask you questions. Do you know what are the dietary guidelines for Americans?
No, I do not.
Okay, so the dietary guidelines for Americans, Federal Nutrition Policy, they advise people what to eat and what to drink to meet their nutrient needs. At the same time, they prevent disease related to nutrition and promote health.
Okay.
Next question. What are the 6 dietary guidelines for healthy eating?
Ooh. You mean like the actual food groups?
Yes.
Well, we've got vegetables.
Yes.
We've got fruits.
Okay.
Grains
Yes.
or cereals. Meat or protein.
Yeah.
What else? Did I say fruits already?
Yeah.
Fruit, vegetables, cereals, meat. I don't know if I'm 6 are.
Dairy and oils.
Dairy and oils. Okay, yes.
Okay. Do you think we should cut carbohydrates from our diet?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because vegetables and fruits and whole grains are part of carbohydrates too.
Yeah.
The last question. Do you think how many cups of vegetables we should consume to get 2,000 calories?
How many cups? Well, it depends on the vegetable too.
Estimate?
2 cups?
2.5 cups.
Ah,
So 1 cup
yeah.
for lunch and 1.5 cup for dinner. Okay, thank you so much, Anne.
You're welcome.
Hi, Mo. Can I ask you some questions about the dietary guidelines for Americans?
Yeah.
So, what do you know about the dietary guidelines for Americans?
I don't really know.
So, they are the Federal Nutrition Policy. They provide nutrition education activities. They advise people on what to eat and what to drink to meet their nutrient needs. They promote health and prevent diet-related disease. It is published every 5 years. The second question, what are the 6 dietary guidelines for eating healthy?
I don't know.
So what people should put in their plates or their meals to have healthy eating?
fruits and vegetables,
Yeah.
water,
No, it's not from the 6 dietary components.
fish,
So it's proteins.
yeah,
So they are fruits, vegetables, whole grains, dairy, proteins, and oils. The third question, should we avoid carbohydrates in our diet?
I guess so. So we don't get fat.
So carbohydrates provide us with the essential nutrients as fibers, vitamins, and minerals. So we have to eliminate or avoid like highly processed food and refined simple sugars, and at the same time focus on the nutrient-dense carbohydrates. Carbohydrates include vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, and legumes. The fourth question, the last one, how many cups of vegetables should a person consume daily for 2,000 calories?
5,
Now we have to consume 2.5 cups per day for 2,000 calories, 1 cup for lunch, and 1.5 cup for dinner. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you.
Hi, Kamal. I want to ask you some questions regarding the dietary guidelines for Americans. So the first question, do you know what are the dietary guidelines for Americans?
No.
So the dietary guidelines for Americans provide advice on what to eat and what to drink to meet the nutrient needs. It is a federal nutrition policy that provides nutrition education activities, food-based recommendation to promote health and to meet nutrients need. It helps to prevent diet-related disease, and it's published every 5 years. The second question, do you know what are the 6 dietary guidelines for eating healthy?
No.
So what we put in our plates to have healthy meal?
Veggies,
Vegetables, yeah.
proteins,
Proteins,
carbs,
which is like whole grains.
yeah, whole grains, potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Mhm.
That's what I know.
So the 6 dietary guidelines for healthy eating are fruits, vegetables, whole grains, dairy, proteins, and oils. So according to USDA, My Plate Plan provides a variety of healthy eating food. So according to the My Food Dairy, it track meals to provide a balanced meal rich of nutrients. The third question, should we avoid carbohydrates in our diet?
No,
Why?
because it helps you out to build your own muscle. It's like the fuel of your muscle.
So carbohydrates provide essential nutrients, as you said, because it's rich of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. So rather than eliminating or preventing carbs, it's better to focus on the necessary carbs, limiting the highly processed food and refined simple sugar, and focus on nutrient-dense carbohydrates as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, and legumes. These are carbohydrates. The last question, how many cups of vegetables should a person consume to have 2,000 kilocalories per day?
So you want per meal or per day?
Per day.
Per day, I think it's gonna be like 4 cups, maybe.
No, there are 2.5 cups per day for 2,000 calories. It's gonna be like 1 cup for lunch and 1.5 cup for dinner. Thank you so much, Kama, for your time.
Thank you.
So, from this survey and from all those audios that we listened to, it is more clear that people are not aware of the dietary guidelines for Americans. Some of them know the good and healthy food habits, but they are not aware of the source and the guidance so that they can have like more healthy food in a well guided way. Also, people are not aware of the right portion of vegetables or fruits to be consumed in their diet. So, some expected more than the required amount, some expected less. Few were like a little bit close to the ideal. So, moral education about the dietary American guidelines would be beneficial for people to let them aware for the source they need to know more about eating healthy, how to prevent diet related disease, how much the dietary guidelines for Americans are so helpful for them to provide them with the important information they need to promote health and to have a better living through dietitian. So thank you so much.